Hey y'all, how you doing? Your girl is back. Please tell your lovers and friends that Precious had to get on here and do it again. Please tell your lovers and friends that Precious had to get on here and do it again. So I've been noticing my life changing a lot really quickly. And I'm at the place where, and I think I kind of detailed it in the last video, I don't really pay attention a lot to the 3D world. The 3D world and everything that's happening around you is just a mirror of what's happening inside you. So if you want your world to change, you have to go into the kingdom and address what's not right in the kingdom. You have to go inside the kingdom that is within you, the kingdom inside yourself, and see what's going on in there. Address that. And once you go into that heavenly realm that is inside of you and sit with God, that is when you will see your world start to change. So it's always hard for me to kind of do these videos because I don't want to give too much away, just because I'm still in the oven. I'm a biscuit that's not done baking yet, and I don't want to take the biscuit out the oven before it's done. So let's put it like this. I've been watching my world change really quickly, and it's because of the work that I've been doing inside, right? So when I was on the train, I heard God say, distance and time are an illusion to separate your blessings from you. So what that means is, right now, in this moment, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever your circumstance, whatever your 3D situation, whether you don't feel good about yourself, whether you're in a terrible place, whether you think that you're not good enough, whether you think that you're unworthy, whatever it is, you are still exactly who God says that you are. Because time and distance are an illusion that have been put there to make you think that your blessings are afar off, but they're not. Your blessings are already here. They already belong to you. They're already you. Because you can only be what you are. You can only operate in the essence of being that God has already called you to be, right? So, just to go into a little more detail, I like to think of it like this. When the Israelites were in the wilderness and they were just walking in circles, and the promised land was right there. They weren't far from their promise, but it's what they were believing inside that kept them from walking into the promised land. It's because the surrender. It's because the fear that they had kept them from getting to the promised land. So in order for you to get to the promised land and to kind of to collapse that gap between time space, between here and here. So I'm gonna become one of them whiteboard people. Watch. In order for you to collapse that imagined distance between you and what you want, you have to understand that, first of all, time doesn't exist. The space between the two things don't exist either, right? The only thing that exists is you, your choices, and what you decide. Who you decide that you are in that moment. Because God will tell you this is who you are. But if you don't believe that's who you are, you have to go through some type of, I won't say test, but yeah, for lack of a better word right now, you have to go through some type of test, some type of trial. I hate to call it a test or a trial. Just using those words kind of have a bad connotation, especially just because the words that we've been taught. I also have a video stressing how important words are and how we use them in ways that are just not profitable to us. And our understanding of what words mean is so small in comparison to the fullness of what God intended, right? So I don't want to use the word test or trial. Let's look for something new, okay? If you guys can find something else in the comments, write it down in the comments, because that's what we'll call it from now on. We're going to make it better. No longer test, no longer trial. Let's say your period of discovery. That's what we'll call it. So during these times, let's say, for instance, let's come up with something off the dome. God says that one day, I don't know, let me make up something wild, right? One day you're gonna marry Chris Brown, right? Whatever. So you think to yourself, oh no, that's not who God says I am. I could never have that. Sorry, Chris Brown. I'm sorry that I got the women in the video lusting after you like that. I'm just using it for reference because, you know, who don't like Chris Brown? Who don't like Chris Brown got one hit song. I'm done. Anyway, back on track here. Y'all know how my ADHD get. So, as far as collapsing that distance, you go, oh no, I don't believe that. So now you begin to act in ways that are contrary to the person that God says that you are. So you have to go on a discovery period or a journey of discovery to come back around to the beginning, just to go, oh, you know, after all that crazy stuff I went through, I really think that I'm supposed to be married to Chris Brown. And that trial period, or the period of discovery, see, I have to catch myself too. The period of discovery that you have to go on to find who you are, who God says that you are. It could have all been avoided if you had hit a place of complete and total surrender. And the complete and total surrender looks different for everybody. This could be anything. This could look different for everybody. That's why it's very, I would heed being a person who tells anyone, oh, God didn't tell you to do that. God didn't tell you to do that. Unless it's really harmful to that person and others. If something is harmful to a person and it's harmful to others, the ideology, the messaging, the action itself is harmful, that's when you can get involved and say, I don't think God told you that. That's really harmful. That's really hurtful. I don't think God said that. But outside of that, even if something looks crazy, right? Even if something doesn't make sense to you, you have to heed. You have to heed the fact that maybe they're on their journey of discovery and God is trying to show them something that you couldn't understand because you're not in their shoes and you can't see the world through their eyes. And you haven't gone on the same journey of discovery as they have because you're a completely different soul on a completely different mission, doing something completely different than they are, right? So here we go. When you hit that place of complete surrender, right, you can pretty much collapse space-time and have the thing right then and there. That's what, and I don't like to call it New Age, just because the philosophies of, I can't even throw up quotes because I'm holding this microphone. The philosophies of New Age teaching are not New Age. They're actually ancient teachings that have come back around into the collective consciousness of our reality today. But anyway, so the way that they speak of things, it's like they understand the fundamentals of how universal law works, how spiritual law works, how heavenly laws work, where You can go, okay, I can go on the journey of discovery, or I could just let the thing go. I can walk in the wilderness and keep going in circles again and again and again, or I can basically just fight the giant and just walk into the promised land. It's like you get to choose. How bad for how long do you want to hurt? And I feel like that's why a lot of chosen ones, we live our life on like level 100 as far as, especially growing up. When in our younger years, coming out the gate, we suffer a lot from a young age. It's like all the pain, all the bad things happen to us when we're in our early years. And then we hit a certain age where we're like, you know, even though all that happened to me, I really just have to thank God for it. Because even for myself, all the things that I've been through, and if I ever am able, not that I'm afraid, but it's because I don't identify with my pain. I'm so far removed from my pain, just like God said, I will separate your sin from you as far as the east is from the west, and I will remember it no more. It's the same thing that God has done to me. I remember terrible, terrible, terrible things. Pain that's unimaginable. I remember sharing a little bit with a friend once, and he said, you know, listening to what you just told me, he said, your hard is another person's impossible. He was like, do you understand that? He said, after listening to you talk, all I could think about you is your hard is another person's impossible. And it's just unbelievable. But I don't take pleasure and I don't boast in that. This is me talking. I've gone past what my friend said. This is back to me. I don't boast in the things that I've been through because I know I didn't get me through that. The only way I could have survived, it had to be God, because I couldn't do it for myself. Right? And like I said, I'm so far removed from the story of pain that it may as well have happened to another person. Sometimes I try to remember the pain. Like I'll be like, remember that time when that thing happened? Then I'll be like, I don't even care. I really don't care. I really don't care, because I made a not a pact, but I've been able to, from a young age, create like my own spiritual, I don't want to use this word. I don't want to say it this way, because I don't want to be misunderstood by saying what I'm about to say. But since I was a kid, I've been able, and I thought I was just playing fun little games. I didn't know I was actually creating spiritual worlds and boundaries and creating things that God could reach me through and speak to me. So basically what I was going to say is, since I was a kid, I was able to kind of create my own spiritual laws, or my own, let's say my own spiritual contracts with God, whereby I knew that if certain standards were met, I knew this is God speaking to me, right? So I kind of lost my point. I'm going to come back to it. What I was going to say is just being able, I mean, if I forgot, it's probably something God doesn't want me to share right now. So I'll take that. I will listen. I've been able to, so just understanding and being able to, hold on, I'm trying to listen. Sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry. Okay, I'll share. Yeah, so one of the spiritual kind of games that I play with God, or a prayer that I prayed with God when I was young, was because I think about the human brain and how the human brain is made to survive. We're not made to have fun, even though we should have fun. Our brain at its core, so basically what our amygdala, which is what we call the lizard brain, right? It's made for survival. So when we feel pain, a lot of it's an illusion, just because there are certain things that we go through in life where our brain kind of takes note of it and puts it in a folder and goes, you know, I'm not going to do that again. You only need to touch fire one time to know that it's hot and never want to touch fire again. Let's just put it like that. Because your brain, it gets imprinted inside of your brain to never touch fire again once you've been burned by fire, right? So that's the same thing with painful situations, trauma, things that hurt, right? Things that hurt us mentally, physically, spiritually. Our brains are programmed to avoid pain at all costs. So in order to avoid pain at all costs, you must what? Remember the pain. So that pain stays prevalent in your mind to make you go, no, I'm not going to do this again. I'll never do that again. But I remember understanding how the brain works in that way. I said to God, you know, when you really sit down and think about your life, right? And I'm speaking to you guys now. When you really sit down and think about your life, think about your day, think about your day to day, every single day. The amount of bad things that happen to you is very small in comparison to the good things that happen to you, right? So I asked God, I said, God, the reason why we play the same pain stories again and again and again and again and again and again is because it's only a handful of them. When you really think about it, you're like, that time that this happened, that time that this happened, that time that this happened. And I'm not negating the fact that some of us have lived very, very, very painful lives that have been full of pain. But even then, the amount of pain stories in comparison to the good, I couldn't even, if I put it on a scale, it wouldn't even match. The amount of pain stories that I could tell couldn't even tip the scale from the blessings just of everyday life that God gave me. I woke up. Oh, I had my favorite snack today. Oh, I had a shower. Oh, whatever. I listened to my favorite song. I had some clean water. Oh, I went outside. The sky was pretty. The wind was blowing. There was birds. There was grass. The color blue. Wow, green. Oh, look at that. Like just all the things that we get to enjoy that we take for granted. I remember sitting down one day and God showing me the color blue for the first time, because I had seen the color blue my whole life. But when God showed me what the color blue was, I was like, just the stuff every single day that we just, oh, that's just the color blue. No. it's alive. That's a living, it's a being. It's alive. It has a name. It's called by something. Everything here, everything that God made is even that it just amazes me that everything has a name. Even things that we don't even know have names. That's why when Ikamalakaratue keshiakume Ikamalekue ke tatakira teki na la kundia kekue umeke etishiki amolakue Andi la kaatia kandia kakia mo ekiaku itaya shiakue. Just understanding that every good thing, down to the things that we don't even think about, just how those outweighed every bad thing that's ever happened to me. It just made me say, so what? So what? So what? So what? Again, not invalidating you. I don't want to invalidate people's pain because, again, I got stories. I got battle stories. But that's why I'm the one who can say, you know what? I have a new saying. Well, it's not new. It's new to you. It's been with me for a while. Where when things are happening, I just say good, bad, God. Good, bad, God. You know what that means? Whether you think it's good, whether you think it's bad, it's God. Because all things work for the good of those that love him and are called according to his purpose. So whether you think it's good or whether you think it's bad, it's God. So when we think of the term surrender, right? We think of it, oh, I got to give this up. No. It's more so just understanding and letting that understanding go, letting the let the story go, let the pain story go. And that was the prayer that I prayed, where I said, you know what, God, the way that I forget every good thing, the way, and I'm going to pray this for you today, the way that I can so easily forget every single good thing, make my memory just as short for the bad things. I want to forget every single bad thing that's ever happened. Just erase it from my memory. Separate it from me. Take it from me. Separate it from me as far as the east is from the west, just like you said you would, right? Just take it from me. But let me remember every good thing. Let me remember that baby that laughed on the bus today, and you should have seen his little face. He was just so pretty. Just a happy little boy laughing on the bus. Just watching people love each other. I don't remember one mean face today. Were they probably there? Yeah, probably. I don't remember. I don't remember one bad word today. Were they probably there? Probably. I don't remember. I don't remember one mean person today. I talked to a lot of people today. Were some of them probably mean? Yeah, probably. I don't remember. And I don't care, right? So I say all that to say, complete surrender is not, I'm going to give this up or I'm going to give that up. It's just falling in to the loving arms of God. And I know this all sounds so cliche and just, oh, we heard this before and that, yeah. We keep hearing it because it's we need to do this. But that's why those pain stories, and again, they're just stories. They're just stories that we keep telling ourselves. Oh, this person did this to me. This person said this. Oh, this is this and this is that. Like, yeah, I share my stories to connect with people and to say, okay, we have this common thing. Now, let's erase the story. Let's forget the story. And let's go this way or that way or whatever way you're being called to go. Because like I always say, go do whatever it is that keeps you strong. Pray, dance, sing, worship. I don't know what y'all be doing. It's not my business to know. As long as you are loving others as you love yourself and loving God with all your heart. That's it. It's not my job to tell you how that looks. It's not my job. All right? Have a good rest of your night. Have a great weekend. All the things, you know? Bye-bye, y'all.